welcome to episode 11 of the Sheer Business Inspiration podcast. My name's Jo Ferreday, and in today's episode, I'm going to be chatting to Kevin Rogers, who is partner of a successful award-winning East Midlands law firm, Wilson Browne Solicitors. He has been finalist this year for National Law Society Solicitor of the Year 2020. He's president of the Northamptonshire Chamber of Commerce. He's a student mentor, a speaker, NLS Solicitor of the Year 2016. And in this episode, we also find out more about the singing solicitor and a lot more. So I hope you enjoy the episode. Thanks for listening. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of the Sheer Business Inspiration podcast. I am really happy to have Kevin Rogers here with us today. Welcome, Kevin.
Hi, Jo. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. We really want to sort of delve into a little more about you, but you know, for those people in the audience that don't know, can you tell us a little bit about your backstory and about your journey to date?
Sure. So I was born in Leeds, left there when I was 4, went to live in Ireland. My dad is Irish and came back when I was about 11. So I grew up on my dad's market stall, went to school, went to uni, went to law school. And in and around all of that, I've been a milkman, I've been a security guard, I've been a barman.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know any of that. There we are.
I've sold carpets as well.
Okay.
The carpet shop for Carpetright, that was one of my favourite jobs ever, to be honest. I think because people came in and they were happy and they were buying things and you solved the problem and then they went and fingers crossed, you know, more or less they were done in sort of 6 weeks. And then I trained a couple of firms in Manchester and moved to London in 2000, where I worked at a firm down there doing commercial and litigation law. And then came to Northamptonshire in July 2003. I've been at Wilson Browne ever since.
Amazing. So what brought you to this neck of the woods? What made you make that move?
So back it was the turn of Christmas, 2002, 2003, that my now wife and I said, look, you know, what's going on? She worked at a firm in Croydon.
Okay.
She's a solicitor as well. And I was working at a firm in London, and my mum and dad were up in Warrington. Hers was South London. So we weren't really living all that near to any of them. Even where we were living in London, it was still a bit of a trip to South London.
Yeah.
It was a bit far. My parents were getting older. So we literally took a week off work, put a pin in the map and said, right, we looked everywhere from Bristol all across the Arc in terms of travel time. And it was a long week and it was boring. We looked at houses everywhere. And the last place we drove through was Northampton, and we saw the Guildhall, and then we saw the Wellingborough, Corby sort of house prices, and thought this is great. And you know, that'll do. Let's stop looking. And we carved up the firms between us. I got an interview at Wilson Browne, and the rest is
history. Amazing. Well, you know, I think we're both in agreement. I mean, I'm a Brummie lass, but you know, I've settled in this beautiful part of the Welland Valley, and I can't really, you know, we went to move a couple of years ago, and we did look around the UK for villages, but we just can't leave. It was our heart's here now, so we're settled too. So I'm in agreement. I love
agree.
this area. Beautiful place to live.
It's a brilliant county. It's a great place to live, you know, whether you're single, married, partnered up, whatever, kids or not kids, it's a great place to be.
Yeah.
It's near enough to whatever you want, and there's good countryside if you want it.
Absolutely. And just a stone's throw away from cities as well. So we've really enjoyed watching your LinkedIn Live broadcasts recently, Kevin, and you've been speaking to some brilliant, inspiring people yourself, but what made you want to start doing that? Obviously you do great work in what you do as a day job. So what made you want to go out and have a chat to other inspiring people?
Well, so the truth is that, you know, obviously I like LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn a little bit, and I got the LinkedIn Live broadcast badge or license, whatever you call it, that they said that for some reason they'd let me do it. And then I thought, well, right, okay, I'm going to obviously do the work-related things, you know, got to pay the mortgage. But then I thought, well, there's an opportunity here. But bearing in mind that I have asked questions of people for over 20 years now. And, you know, whether that's in court or witnesses or clients or whatever, getting to the heart of things. So it's something that I can do. I'm not a broadcaster. I don't understand tech properly. Anybody that does will, you know, criticize what and how I do. But you can be a bit rough and ready on LinkedIn. So I thought, right, there's no pressure. There's no timetable. I could do one a year or I could do one a month.
Yeah.
Who do I want to talk to? Who do I know? Chances are people would want to hear. And then, you know, some of the badges that I have, some of the offices that I hold, I have access to people that, you know, are hard to reach sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, like CEOs of, you know, national size businesses, or, you know, local characters who are just really, really busy.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's no set formula. Just for me, it's someone interesting. Do they have an interesting story? And that's where it started, really.
Well, it's great. Really enjoying it. So definitely keep it up. It's one of the things that I'm really enjoying seeing content-wise from you. So really enjoying that. You are definitely a valued member of the business community. It's obviously as a business, you know, Wilson Browne support many. But also as an individual, you do tend to really get to the heart of what things mean to the community out there. You know, in terms of your singing solicitor, for instance, you know, that's definitely be something that's got to the heart of many people in the nation. If you haven't already looked at it, definitely would encourage you to follow that hashtag on LinkedIn. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that came about?
Yeah. So in my late teens, early 20s, like probably most folk, I was in a band at college. I was also in choirs from a young age. It's through school, and then with study and everything, that all fell away. One of my biggest supporters was my mum, my dad as well, but particularly my mum always liked it. And then she was diagnosed with a non-curable terminal illness, probably about 5.5 years ago now. And she was given 18 months to live. And, you know, believe it or not, she lasted till just this August, just gone when we lost her. But bless her, she outdid them. So one day last year, beginning of 2019, I had one of the kids' karaoke discs in my car. And I thought, I haven't seen her for a little while. I can't go and see her for the moment. Before I set off, press record, I thought, I'll sing her a song, cheer her up. It's probably going to be rubbish. And it wasn't great at all, but I sent it to her and she liked it.
Yeah,
And
I think
mum's
it's
have to.
really good. Yeah.
And a couple of weeks later, I thought to myself, there's something in this about, you know, just having a go, because it was so rough. And yeah, posted it, and you know, it hit sort of 13,000 views on the first weekend. And it was, yeah, and she said, you know, keep doing it. You know, you're not trying to make any money out of it. You're showing who you are and encouraging people to have a go, and that sort of stuck really. But again, there's no formula to it. It's just whatever is going round, and I might go 2 weeks without one, or 3 months. It's just whatever.
Yeah, but I think that's, again, it's a really good message for people. You know, we aren't defined by just one thing, are we? We're defined by multiple elements of our past, our present, our future. You know, what makes us tick. You know, I love working in events, but it doesn't mean that's the only thing that I love. You know, and you know, the same for you. You know, you love music. I mean, you know, you're president of the Northampton Chamber of Commerce. And you know that you're a solicitor, you're a father, you know, you're a son. So there's all those things, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? We sometimes get so bogged down in what we do for our business, we don't think about the extra layers of us as people, as human beings. So I think definitely that was a great sort of thing to put out there. So I hope you keep it up, definitely.
Yeah, thank you. No, I will, and it's been a nice thing to be able to do, a few little bits for charity along the way.
Yeah.
From last Christmas, Ben Thomas at All Things Business asked me to be involved in their effort for Kids Aid.
Yes.
We've put some out for Help for Heroes this year with
Yeah, that was
fundraising.
an amazing collaboration, that was, wasn't it? So there was
That was a lot of fun.
yeah,
Was a
so there
lot of
was
fun.
you, there was Hannah Brady, Ben Thomas,
John
Griffith, yes.
Yeah.
And tell us more about that. What happened there? What did you do for that?
Well, I had this vision in my mind, if you like, in terms of what the sound was, because I thought it would be really good to have a medley. Because when you talk to people about the old war songs, they remember the chorus, they don't really remember the whole thing.
No, it's true.
And with the best will in the world, you're not going to want everyone to sit and listen to, maybe the whole 4 minutes of an old war song. But I thought, well, what if we stitch 3 or 4 together? And I had a bit of a go and figured that a way I could do it using a program and my guitar, and got some volunteers, Hannah and John. John is a really talented broadcaster, but he's also a really talented chorister. He's really good at harmonies, and amazing at doing, jazz hands, which he does on the video, which is brilliant.
It does, yeah. And it was filmed at Rockingham Castle, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So the Lord Lieutenant let us in for the day, which is, exclusive access. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And Ben turned up with his team, and their drone and their different cameras, and yeah, the whole thing.
It was brilliant, and you had gorgeous weather as well, didn't you? It was beautiful sunshine. Yeah, and you raised such a lot of money, didn't you?
Yeah, it was over £2,000 for Help for Heroes, which, in the scheme of things, in a pandemic, I think it's doing all right.
That's
really
good. Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure they'll be delighted with that. And so, talking about obviously your presidency at the Northampton Chamber of Commerce, what are your opinions in terms of? Obviously, I know it's a great chamber. We're members of it ourselves, but what do you think differentiates that particular chamber from others in the UK?
It's the people that work there, really, for me. But if people don't know what a chamber is, it sounds, just because of the word chamber, it has this idea of like a dark, smoke-filled room, and leather seats and oak paneling and secret deals.
Stuffy people in stuffy
really
suits, yeah.
And they can't get away from that word because it is a chamber. But the British Chambers of Commerce is an accredited network,
yes,
that has national and international presence and lobbying. And there's 53 chambers. We're one of them. In all the KPIs and everything we perform, we're in the top 10, which is great because by size we're probably middle of the pack in terms of the geography.
Yeah.
And they provide all range of things. It's not just networking. It is a great way to get your brand and name out there, but you've got to invest in that. But there's all kinds of business support and lobbying and training deals and different packages, and international trade is going to be huge for them next year with the changes, following Brexit, whatever they are. And there's just the support and the time and the sort of camaraderie you like. And that's not just because if you're a small business. I have medium and the local offices of national companies who are clients of mine and in the chamber, that they make use of it for things outside of networking.
Yeah.
So it really is a good thing to put the money into, in terms of, it's a small cost for membership.
Yeah.
And if people are interested, they need to look up Sonny Singh and get in touch.
Absolutely. Good old Sonny Singh. He's great.
Thing.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and as you say, a great team there. Always wanting to offer support and things. So, especially this year, it hasn't gone unnoticed, the support that's been there. So that's great. So, I mean, in terms of this year, obviously, we're in December. I can't believe where the year has gone, but I'm quite pleased actually. This year has tootled along quite promptly. But there are many businesses and individuals that have struggled this year and will continue to until things change. A vaccine gets rolled out. Whatever it is. What message would you say to a budding entrepreneur at this time? Because there are a lot of people I know that will have been made redundant, and they're weighing up their options really, and many are looking at starting up on their own. So what advice would you give them right now?
For me, it's a little bit the same as I would in any day and age, or whatever climate. If you've got a good idea and you're sure of the idea and you think you've got the skill set, or you've got the drive to make it work, then that's a thing to take forward. One of the things about Northamptonshire is we punch way above our weight in terms of new businesses and startups and entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Another fact that is true and you can't get away from is that a lot of those businesses go out of business. And, we're probably below where the average, in terms of the ones that keep going. So we incorporate a lot, but actually a lot go under. So, I don't want to give a mixed message. It's not all necessary hearts and flowers, have an idea and you'll do wonderfully well. You need to think it through.
Yeah.
Now more than ever, but don't let now stop you, because this is a time of opportunity. And just because people need a particular service or skill set more at the moment, there's nothing wrong with providing that. Because it's a need, and if you get paid for that, well, you get paid in your job, I get paid in my job. That's part of it. You're allowed to get paid. It's fine.
Yeah.
But you've got to really think it through and look at the financials. And if you don't really understand them, have a good chat with a good bank manager or accountant or lawyer, and get some proper advice. Again, the chamber will signpost you for advice on startups, if you remember.
Definitely. That's great advice. What does resilience mean to you, Kevin?
The first thing that comes into my mind when you say that is the people around me. In terms of, firstly at Wilson Browne Solicitors, we've stayed open, and
yes, you have,
and we have still managed to have people work from home. So in late March, early April, if you'd have come to us, you would have been able to still come, same as you can today, same as you could last year, but it's slightly different, as you'd expect. There's protocols and procedures, and you have to make an appointment. You can't just drop in necessarily. But all those protocols and procedures didn't come from one person. That came from, a group of people. I'm on the board at Wilson Browne, and the board has worked together with the management team here really, really well. Whether it's WhatsApp groups or whatever, we've put things together pretty quickly to maintain that service. We noticed a lot of law firms closing. You couldn't get simple documents sorted out, but the world has to keep turning. And we've had people, again, I say it's the people around you, but we've had people finding their own solutions, which has inspired me. April, we had people signing documents in the car park, socially distant over a car bonnet. Someone who was shielding drove to the office and pulled up outside our partner's window. So the partner's looking out the window, looking through their car, and they're getting things done. They sign them, they pop around, they stick it through the letterbox. So it's a bit rough and ready, and you won't.
Yeah, but you're willing to. That's the thing. It's adjustment, isn't it? It's adjustment. It's however you want to package it, but it's about, like you were saying, moving forward and finding a way to move forward is the important thing. But also the people around you as well is, like I say, that's definitely ticks the box there. As we've discussed, it's been a difficult time, but I mean, there are people that have really flourished at this time, and you do look at the whole synopsis and reflect on the year. I always reflected at this month. I always reflect on the year that's passed, and there have been opportunities to do more things that I wouldn't normally have done. So I look at that as a positive. I think we're all changed as people in one way, shape, or another. This year has definitely defined a lot of us in many ways. But what inspiring message can you give to people for 2021? What would you say?
I think it's keep going, unless, this is going to sound really, really glum, unless you've got a business that should stop, for your own health and the health of the business. And if that is the case, then you need to talk to someone. Unless you've got a business that should stop like that, then keep going. Wayne Jenkins, our business development marketing director, said to us in March, we stop selling now. This is what we do. We tell people who we are and we help. My dad used to say, if you cast your bread out on the waters, it might come back as jam sandwiches. You might have seen me use that quote once or twice. You put these things together, and then you get the constant presence from someone like, say, Tom Warrender here. If I mix all that up in my mind, that tells me what to do, which is probably the best I can do for anyone watching. Is don't don't sell, help. That message is still the same, but also get out there, be vocal, be prominent. And, you know, if you've got something worth buying, people will buy it. You'll be in their mind and they'll come back to you.
I think
This will pass. This will pass.
Yeah. And that's a great message, because I think that the worst thing in the world to do is to be quiet. But like you said, there's a right time to push that sales button. And actually, I think we're all different creatures now in terms of the way we buy and sell. So I think people do buy from people, and ultimately whatever we're talking about or whatever content we're putting out, we need to make that more personable. So yeah, I think that's great advice. So tell me, Kevin, have you got any other projects that are waiting to come out? If I know you well enough, I'm sure there's lots of things that are bubbling away.
We're putting together a new LinkedIn local, which is something Wilson Browne have done with Kilby Fox and the Kettering Park Hotel a few times this year. That'll be virtual. That will be in February.
Amazing.
We've got a couple of brilliant speakers for that. We've got a national author, and we've got someone from a very famous F1 business who's going to come and talk to us about things.
Very good.
So that'll be good. So watch out for that. That'll be announced probably in the new year. We'll pin the dates down.
Well, once we've got the links for that, we can share that on our YouTube channel and on the podcast as well. So yeah.
Brilliant. So that's that. Going back to little on me, I've got a couple of LinkedIn lives lined up.
Great stuff.
With two wonderfully strong ladies that will be talking to me in the new year.
Amazing.
So that will be January and February. There's one for each month.
Very good.
So they'll be good. They'll be good. And there might be, you never know, there might be the guitar now and again as well.
Very good. Well, I look forward to it. And thank you so much for being a guest. I'm sure the audience will have loved it. So wishing you and yours a happy festive time and a great 2021. So yeah.
Thank you, Jo. It's a brilliant series. Thanks for letting me be part of it.
No, I'm delighted that you can be. So thanks again.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye. Thank you so much, Kevin, for taking the time to speak to me today. I know so many people will have taken a lot from our conversation, so really appreciate you taking the time. Wish you every success with 2021, and hopefully we'll get you on Series 2 next year. So wishing you all the best, and all the links that we discussed in the comments will be given to our audience. So thanks again. If you're enjoying the Sheer Business Inspiration podcast and vlog, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media handles. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. So our next guest, our final guest for Series 2 is Big Ian Donaghy, and we cannot wait to hear from you, Ian. He is a unique and entertaining and dynamic keynote speaker, and he has got such a range of experience. He is winner of Care Trainer of the Year at the British Care Awards, and he is author of A Pocket Full of Kindness, Dear Dementia and The Missing Piece. Not only that, but Ian is a passionate fundraiser, and he always has been leading the campaign for older people in York. He's the founder of Christmas Presents, A Night to Remember, and All Together Now Festival, and he's actually taking on a huge, immense challenge this year. So we'll be able to share more with you when you hear and tune into our chat. It's the final episode of this season, so we would love to hear your thoughts and questions that you'd like to put forward to Ian. Thanks for listening as always.